like plug in.
Yes. So I think we are live. So everyone, hi. Hi.
Hey, we're twinning.
Yeah, beautiful green color.
I love that.
Yay. Okay, so my name is Kiko. I'm here with beautiful Skye. And today we'll talk about good habits and bad habits. And Skye, how are you?
I'm good. And what about you?
I am very excited. I woke up with headache because of the nightmare, and maybe this could connect to good habit and bad habits. So we can talk about that. But I wanted to hear about you, why you wanted to talk about good habits and bad habits today.
Okay, so I spend a lot of time on my. So I don't think being raw is an easy task. We want to be healthy, and I think it's beautiful doing raw, but I think in this world, everything's kind of pulling us to not do raw. And we're constantly trying to find a way to do it. And then we get in the community, and there's this whole stigma around certain ways of doing things. So, too much fat, too much greens, too much fruit. And of course, we bring our previous mindset into a new lifestyle, even if you think you don't, even if you think you're trained to the nines, really who you were before for the past, for me, 40 years is who I bring in. And I spend a lot of time, like I love the food, but I spend a lot of time seeing positivity. So even when I do something which maybe in somebody else's eyes, which really has nothing to do with me, is bad, that is not me. I do not let that affect me. I choose to see lessons because a lot of what we don't do, we see as bad. And if you start attributing what you do to this is bad, this is not good, I've done this wrong, I've noticed with me, and I think things becomes really clear, and this is about my journey. As soon as I start, like, just say something that I've put inside my body for a long period of time, I start attributing it's being bad. I am that, right? So just say I decide, wake up one day and I'm like, green juice is bad. Well, I'm 3 years worth of pretty much green juice. So I'm actually telling my subconscious that for the last 3 years, what I did is bad. If I choose not to have green juice anymore, I put it on the shelf of tools. And I've noticed that I work very hard at staying in positivity. What can I learn? What can I get? Because once you put that on a bad shelf, you're up there with it. Let's put it on the bottom shelf. You're there with it. And then what happens is you start matching that. And there's a law of sustainability where if you start doing certain things, just say that you're still having you start to sabotage your life. Basically, if you start putting things in your body that were in the green juice, like the celery and the cucumber, it doesn't match with what your identity is saying. So to match with this law of sustainability, you sabotage yourself because you're training yourself. And then what category those foods are in are raw foods. So are all raw foods bad? And I remember hearing Dr. Morse once say about humans' greatest struggle when you come off doing like just fruits and, really high fruits, is that we categorize everything. The real battle is what we categorize. So I spend a lot of my energy, if not all the energy I possibly can, in seeing good, in because bad seems to come so naturally to us. Like it'll be there whether we look for good or not. I promise you, you cannot eradicate bad. But what if we see lessons as opposed to being that's good, that's bad, I am now bad. And then for me, I too easily tumble. And I don't think I'm the only one who's had struggles in the past. It's too easy to go back. So that is why I wanted to talk on this, because for
Uh,
me, I of course there's this immediate response where this thing could be bad, but because I'm so well versed in seeing the good, it keeps my vibration high, my mood high, me raw, feeling good, and it's really important to me. So that's why I want to talk about this.
okay, that's interesting. It's quite different from what I thought you would talk about. So basically, you just want to focus on positivity because it's true. By nature, we tend to go on to look at the negative things,
Mm.
and after that, it's kind of going down on the spiral, right? So for you, you don't want to focus on what's good and what's bad. Just kind of focus on raw path. Is that?
Well, just positivity. It's
Mm,
I think what people think they're like, "Oh, that's toxic," or there is negative. There'll always be negative. Like, you
mm,
cannot not default. You've got negative, there's negative there. You will have a jump scare. But why not then try and find as much light as possible? You cannot eradicate the negative just
mm,
because I've noticed, because people ask, that's the truth for me. How do you overcome 60 surgeries, a lifetime in bed? That's what I did. Like, I stopped attributing, and I was talking this morning about how when I started running and getting my breath out of breath again, and I started to use, my heart would start racing, is remember by the end of a run is all these memories of events in my past where I had, because I hadn't had my heart rate up in a long time. When my heart rate was up all the time before was a lot of trauma, right? But I was like, my brain defaulted, instead of to being like, oh my God, and having a panic attack, it went, holy crap, if I can overcome all that, I can get up this hill. And then I'm starting to, does it take away that there's still negative connotation coming through my brain? No. But I've
mm,
changed the percentage of how that affects me by people call it the work, right? Is my work is the greatest work I've done, besides all the physical things that people see me do, is how do I see light? How do I see light? How do I still see light? Is there dark still? There's always dark, but I see so much more light. And then when the dark comes closing in, I still see light much
mm,
easier because of that I see the world this way.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it takes yeah, we have in this time and age where, we're getting news from all over the world as well, even though I don't watch news, but for example, I am a tour guide, right? And I have this lady from Kuwait. She said that she won't probably be able to make it. She was supposed to be here within a few weeks.
Mm,
And even though I don't watch news and I try, because I'm very sensitive to this kind of things, I, she shares what's going on. And it's so important to keep my mindset in a joy, because me being sad doesn't help her, doesn't help anyone, right?
mm.
And I just keep on sending her a prayer that her family is okay. And I try to remind her, and also try to share something joyful, right? Like yesterday I went on a date with my husband. His plum flowers are in full bloom right now, and they smell so good. Everyone talks about sakura cherry blossoms here in Japan, but I think plum blossom is much more beautiful, and it's more enjoyable because it smells really nice. Like cherry blossom doesn't smell, doesn't have much
It's
scent.
just pretty.
It's pretty, and it's much shorter period. So in a way, it's philosophy of Japanese philosophy. This beautiful thing just blossom, but it doesn't stay, and it sounds beautiful, right? Like the beauty doesn't last a long time. So that kind of connotation is more beautiful. I think it catches everyone's attention, and it's usually blossom on a warmer day, closer to it's springtime. Plum blossom is on a colder days. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, instead of being sad and being angry on what's going on in the world, I try to share what I can do to uplift people who
Yeah.
are. feeling down. And for me, what I wanted to talk about on this good habits and bad habits is, I'm just like you, and I think we are very both sensitive, and that's why we keep on doing something. Something might trigger, by doing something that keep us going on this positive lifestyle, but we keep on going, right? So for me, good habits is something that I can make it easy to follow. Like, again, yesterday when I went on a date with my husband, we were out all day. So what I did was prepare this beautiful, I shared on my Instagram what I wrote on my whole day tour. Lots of fruits and strawberries is in season.
Oh,
So so good in Japan. And oh, Jamie's there. Hi, Jamie. Hi,
hey.
Carrie as well. Yes. So yeah, I packed myself with bananas, oranges, and huge salad, and oh, I had a durian that was really good as well. And yeah, I try to prepare in advance, right? So that I don't fall off on the bad habits.
Mm.
How about you? I mean, do you have like a system that you follow on a good habits?
So when I first went raw, I realized that my bad habits were things that at any point would go through my system and not make me feel good. So when I changed my life, what directed what I chose to put in my life was as something comes in my body and transits through my system, including when it leaves my body, it has to be feeling good. So, because I had no habits besides all bad ones, they were vaping, smoking, drinking, pharmaceuticals, surgeries, in bed, my liver was failing, all these things, right? So, what I started to notice is when I made choices, like I ate the carrot, for example, I was like, I looking at it, I'm like, that feels good. Munched on it, that feels good. And as it sits in my tummy, that feels good. And as it's going through, I'm like, I still feel good. And then as it goes out, I'm like, oh, that came out easy. That feels good. Okay.
Mhm.
And so I was like, in a spot which is really hard to imagine. Even when I had my stomach removed, I never got to the point I was at. So and I couldn't read, I couldn't go and see what other people were doing. So I made this decision that the things that come in my life have to represent that, because at some point in my system, if they make me feel bad, that's self harm. Okay. So this is the narrative I've built my whole life around now, but how it started, because my brain isn't like it was now. There was no higher thinking. It was like a child, right? So I attributed something which got into some part of my system and made me feel bad as self-harm, and that was going to direct me out of this darkness, because it was just pure darkness I was in, right? The only light I saw was when I could get outside or by a window, nature, right? Which essentially I was putting nature in. So I would do things, and that's how I got rid of nuts, seeds, and this is what was making me feel good. Everybody's different. Everyone different foods,
Mhm.
different things, right? Is I got rid of nuts, seeds, spice. I realized that yes, they were better than most things I'd be doing, but the transit wasn't giving me what I needed. Now, this is really important, especially the period where I ate just high fruit, just as simply as possible, because I think it gave my psyche a reset. When you sit that high spiritually, emotionally, and everything you feel going through your system feels good to me, it gives me this time to completely reset and let my mind, what I call during that period, will reset. Like, it's not even about finding myself, it's that period. Feel safe to some extent. So the things that I decided to do in my life from that point were really, because it was like my life stopped and I was born again almost, right? Is they come from that principle, that underlying principle that if I choose to put something in my body and at some point it's self-harm, is I need to recognize that, acknowledge the good, if for periods of time. So I don't see everything I put in as optimal, but I do to a point, because I've worked so hard on myself. My body can now digest things it couldn't back then. So things change over time because I've done the work. I call them getting more gifts. So that's when it comes to good or bad, that's how my navigation system starts. And I don't really have or use, because it didn't serve me, my old navigational system. This really directs me. So even if I go off course, I'm like, Skye, was that really all the way through making you feel good? Were you listening to the cues your body's giving you? And if I don't, I still don't see that as bad. I'm like, they're just more lessons to learn.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's so important because, I've also learned a lesson, you know, what's bad and what's good might not be what's really good and bad at the end of, you know,
Or
our
even the
life.
day, to be
It's,
honest. Like
yeah,
I can swap up so quickly
right, exactly. So, yeah, I
for me.
mean, what I thought was horrific, you know, it's something where we can learn a huge lesson to change our course. So at the end of the day, that was a great lesson to be learned. Um, so I
But
know
those
that.
words, Kiko, as well. Sorry. The other thing I didn't mention was I
Mm,
started to notice, because I'm alone all the time, that words made me feel a certain way. Like I was hugely responsive and sensitive to words. So like the carrot, it's bright and glowy and pretty, and I'm getting chills now thinking about it, right? And all these
mm,
things are making me feel good. I want to be that, right? And so
mm,
you put it in water, and for me, I started to sink, and I started to say, "Oh, is that ready? It's a bit hot." And just all face, everything changed. That's not me. That's not my reality. And that's not everybody's reality, but this is my reality, and I get to build it. Right? If you get to start all over, how do you build your life? And that's what I choose to build it off. And so sorry, I interrupted you, but I just wanted to say that I did recognize as well that their words, I was living off. I felt dated, like anything positive that I could crawl my way out of hell
mm,
with, I was latching onto. If that was words, grabbing leaves outside and bringing them in the whatever I had to do to climb out of hell, I was going to do. But it's interesting that I still use all this to this day.
I see. Yeah, it's true. I think for me, of this, feeling, for example, like eating something that was decadent back then. Let's say I could think of like chocolate cake that was not vegan and of course cooked and with lots of sugar and animal products. And then the first bite, I might get this, you know, hit in my brain. It's like, wow, this is so good. But then I realized that that food is it's a toxic relationship, right? So
Yeah.
I eat it, but the food doesn't love me back. And when I started eating raw vegan, I finally found the mutual love with food. I was like, wow, I feel so good. And, you know, it tastes good. And then my body responds so well. This mutual love was it was so interesting that it's something I never realized, that we can all, work in harmony.
Yeah, exactly what you said. It loves you back. And that's
Mhm,
something I think, like, even when I think of eating hamburgers and chocolate cake and stuff, there is always guilt attached, and we just become immune to it. Well, I don't think we do, because there's always that negative self talk. It was unbelievable to eat food that didn't have that feeling with it. And I
mhm,
guess I'm saying, like, at that simple level, I would think about how, as it went through my system, I was just checking in all the time, like, still don't feel bad, still don't feel bad. And
mhm,
that is very mind blowing. And then it
mhm,
makes you think, because we're never taught about this, and we feel like we're supposed to be taught about all the important things in life. And then I was like, if somebody missed teaching me this big a lesson, what
mhm.
else don't I know? Like, I want to
Yeah.
go out and explore now. What else is going to make me feel good? And so if
Mm,
something makes me feel bad, I have to ask myself, I don't even ask myself why I do that. I'm like, it hurts me. That, to me, it just keeps flicking back. That self-harm. I've found so much self-goodness now.
mm, mm,
Like, juices, raw foods, good people, different types of exercise, raw food meetups, retreats, going overseas, a whole lot of things that are
Mm,
now in the goodie bag. But at the start, when I first healed, there wasn't many good. Uh,
mm,
you know, nature was a huge one that could hold me, and then it was raw food. So I was like, it's almost like treading carefully that I wasn't like doing the wrong thing, and that can cause anxiety on hindsight. But I was so happy that I'd found things that loved me back. I like that, Kiko.
mm.
Loves me
Yeah,
back.
yeah, and I think you're doing it such a wonderful way. You know, you have created this raw community, and we'll be honest that this raw path is not easy because we are a super minority. So once we step out of our house, you live alone, right? My husband is vegan, and I'm the only one who's cooking. So everything is raw vegan around me. So, but once I step out, like yesterday, it was a beautiful day out, but there's absolutely nothing that I would want to eat. I would want to eat, put in my body, cooked with animal products and lots of sugar. And like we have no idea what's in the food anymore. And people are
Mm.
just, eating easily. And, probably most people don't notice the difference. If I eat it, I would notice it right away. But if I don't have the right, right mindset, right habit, I would, I would just go on a spiral down and not feeling good again. So like,
Mm.
yeah, putting the system for me on a good habit is very important for me.
Yeah, I think it's also really important for those starting out to realize that you could be getting into a negative situation by trying to take on too many what you've classified as good new habits all at once. Like it can, nature can be good, exercise can be good, yoga can be good, good sleep can be good people can be good food can be good. But if you try and go wake up and be like, tomorrow, like I'm doing so many bad things, tomorrow I'm doing everything good, you can get so overwhelmed that you feel bad. And the whole purpose is you felt bad your whole life. How do you now feel good? Like that's the whole thing. And I really think that to relearn to do that is a greater gift, the greatest gift you can give yourself in this lifetime. But it takes slow and steady steps. So, and to me, even changing your diet to raw food is so all encompassing. If you even can meet yourself halfway there, you're amazing. Even if you start to be mindful of raw food, you're amazing. Like you don't want to feel like you're still torturing yourself, because by default you will just resonate with how you used to be. Like if I push myself too hard and I feel just as bad as I used to, am I not the same as I used to be?
Uh, it's you've learned the psychology, so you understand how it works, and it's so important that you know, if you used to go out often, then you have to change that dopamine to something else, right?
Yes.
That it's yeah, I think that's something I was missing, and I think that's why a lot of raw vegans that I knew just went kind of crazy and went.
You're so funny. They just went crazy and I was going crazy and
No, no, but because I mean, imagine that you had full of friends, because most of our activities are surrounded by like alcohol, going out on a drink. Oh, let's go out on a drink. Let's go have a grab of bite. Oh, you're not eating, then okay, well, never mind. Then you just spend more and more time alone. Then you have to find a way to get that dopamine in. What kind of feeling you were getting when you were going out with your friends. So Skye, you have created this raw community where we have monthly raw party in Europe, US,
yeah.
women's house podcast, book club. All of that is helping me keep on this healthy path, healthy, sustainable path, not going yo-yoing.
Yeah, and let's look at those for a second, because you're right, all of those are very high dopamine. but they're not. What they also are is, so when I make the food for a party, I feel good. I feel excited. I feel happy. I chat to you guys, or I surprise and bring something, and we get online and we're doing it, and we laugh and we giggle and we eat the food, and we don't feel bad, and we feel come away. And it's that whole process. Spoke about how I got well, right? Like the carrot. I ate it, I felt good. Through my body, it felt good. So it's redesigning things that consistently make you feel good. And that's essentially, that's like the backbone or the premise where I like to look at things. And I think it's like one of those things where there'll always be bad, but there's enough of it already. It's like, and you will feel it. It's like, I feel like that survival instinct for me. And I think the other thing which is worth mentioning is, this is my story and the way I got well. And if people are interested in that aspect of it, it doesn't mean that's what everyone's soul is here right now to experience. But I have just found that it is just too easy for me to grab onto instant gratification. And then the compensating thing to that is a big up and a big down, right? You do something like instantly stimulating and you've got to come back down. And it was, how do I navigate through this life without basically feeling a big up and a big down? And I felt like this planet is just so dense. There's so much down. I have to just find good, find good, find good. And does that mean that the situation is 100% good every time? Hell no. But I will look for the 10% or the 1% or the 80%. And I prefer to see that than I do a whole lot of things that just don't make me feel good.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to answer this question? How much fruit do you eat nowadays?
So I have defaulted back after doing keto to being okay with berries and apples. So I'll have some green apples in my morning juice. So there's about 2 to 3 apples in that. Later on, I may
Oh,
have a green. Yeah, I don't find green as tart or as sweet as red. So
Granny's. Yeah.
yeah, the Granny Smith ones. And then I will snack on some berries or put some raspberries through one of my juices. I then usually do more greens or cruciferous, chia, flax, a few different nuts or seeds, because I just want to make sure I'm getting all different nutrients, but swinging more towards omega 3s. Flax oil, I'm doing better with the chia and flax seed at the moment, so not as much flax oil. I, like yesterday, had some white dragon fruit. I would seriously live off as much white dragon fruit as I could. I feel like I love that it's not too sweet. So
Mm.
that's where I sit with fruit: tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini. But I don't think you're asking
Wow,
about
that's
that.
amazing. You're getting a lot of fruits nowadays.
Not what to me, that doesn't seem like any at all. To me, that's like not much at all. To me,
Because
fruit.
there's the time that you were not eating at all. So,
Yeah. So here's the caveat: is I do when I do keto, I feel so calm. I feel like I have no symptoms. I feel really good. But the thing I don't like about it is, for an extended period of time, I start to get this level of dehydration, which I can't
mm,
remedy without some sort of fruit in. Cucumber doesn't do it. Celery starts to dehydrate because it's got sodium in it, right? And a lot of minerals. And so there's some, but I think there's like an electrical component to the fruits which helps the body run. And so having it in does mean I can get more. How my symptoms go is very indicative of blood sugar changes. So I just do the best I can. And what I tend to do now is, when everything starts to get flary, stop and drink water, Skye. Stop and drink water, Skye. Don't keep putting things in to stress your body out. Just sit with it, let it kind of pass, and
mm,
that's working for me right now. But that's this week, guys. To me, a lot of fruit is where I used to wake up and have like 2 papayas, and then all day was like sugary fruits, and then at night was still like zucchinis and tomatoes and mangoes and avocados. Like, to me, that is like the fruit journey.
Look at you, your face lit up when you talk about fruits.
I do. That's what it is. It's high vibrational, right? I would love. I was actually thinking I would love. Like I was talking yesterday at the Raw Meetup. Is I've tried to get back many times onto fruit and juice. I've tried so many times, and all I do is get so many symptoms. It's unbearable. So what most humans don't like, and what I with the ADHD in my realm, I work on is sitting in consistency,
Mm,
like where you're not being like, I need like a ton of fruit. Okay, now I'm doing keto. Now I have to sit in a space where, um, and I don't see those as bad. They're just lessons, right? I'm not as even near as sick as I used to be. I'm still well on both. Well, moderately well, right? But doesn't mean I'll stop trying. So
mm.
yes, fruit
Fruit
can be
can be addicting.
it can be, and you don't realize that you're eating it to not feel. And only
Mm,
time I realized that was when I did no sugary fruit. And when you are thinking of a meal, you
mm,
don't get what you were getting before, and then you realize how often this is me regulating
mm,
with the sugars. And when you stop that, you have, it's not even that to sit with it. I was like, I didn't realize that when I was feeling something, that was my cue to go eat something. And
mm.
so, yeah.
Yeah, fruit can be addicting. It's interesting comment. For me, I think I do believe I got carried away with fruit, thinking that this is like a goddess, the food we should be eating. But at the same time, fruits nowadays, especially here in Japan, fruits are so sweet. It's been modified so many times to, please our appetite. So it's not, what you would find like the strawberries, like this is so good, but that's something you wouldn't find in the wild nature, right? It's usually wild nature, you might find much smaller and more sour. So to keep in mind, I think it was Dr. Rick and Karen Dina mentioned how fruits has been modified and it's much sweeter. So that's why we can add greens to balance. And that's why I am adding, if I make the banana strawberry smoothies, I would probably add like spinach or some greens inside. And you don't really taste greens, but for me, I think it seems to balance out overall. So I'm just sneaking in some greens, while I'm enjoying that smoothies. Or,
Like also when you held up those strawberries, what came to me was the memory of my cousins had a strawberry patch when I was little, and we'd play around it when we were little, and how long a fruit actually takes to grow, and the amount of energy and effort that a
mm,
expels to get the fruit. And the fruit isn't in abundance, the greens kind of are. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can walk out into nature and really be greens in your face. The greens everywhere. Not saying you can eat all of them, but there is an abundance of greens. Fruits
mm,
are very rare, and I wonder to what extent we were supposed to practice this sanctimony, or is that the word? Like this almost like gratitude level of what a plant has been able to create to bear and give nutrients to its seeds to procreate, right? To have more plants, and then we get what it's the fruit it's bared, basically. And I think when you eat a lot of fruit, you're not as mindful. You like how long it takes to grow a papaya or even a coconut or one strawberry. Because I remember seeing in the garden when the little like flower bud comes up, and then you get the green and it goes white, and then I'm back again. I'm like, it's not even red yet. How long is this? And as a kid, like a whole season is like, I don't know, a sixth of your life when you're 4 years old, you know. So yeah,
mm,
that's that's true. Is I think that is exactly true. It's not the fruit of our ancestors. The fruit of our ancestors doesn't even resemble the fruit. When you see the photos, and bananas are mostly seeds, and like if you
mm,
ate that, you would spend more time sucking the flesh off it than you would the actual fruit, and that gives time for digestion as well.
mm. Yeah, it's true. So For me, just for now, still eat quite a bit of fruits, but uh, in my green smoothies, I do add quite a bit of fruits, but then maybe 70% or more is greens, and that's what I try to go with my day. But then afternoon I would have a huge salad. So yeah, I don't know, maybe percentage wise, 80, 70%, 80% greens overall. Um yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you get uh the dragon fruits?
I love
Is that
dragon.
from, yeah, is that from Australia?
No, I've only seen imported. There's no reason it couldn't grow up in the tropics, but as far as I know, so one of the ladies who comes to the meetup, she lives out in Cabramatta Way, where there's a lot of tropical imported different fruits. She said a lot of it you can, I think, at different season or times comes from Australia. But she was saying how in Asia, it's so cheap. I don't know which Asian country she's saying, but it's so cheap to get dragon fruit. I was like, oh my God, I would love to. I could do that. I'd also be interested when I go to Thailand how much fruit I can tolerate while I'm so grounded, because my body responds very differently to things the more time I spend away from pollutants, away from alternate currents, and have my feet and bottom grounded for extended periods on sand. I don't react even as moderately as I usually do the more time I'm indoors. Um, and I find I eat less. You just don't eat as much. Plus, I dragon fruit. Dragon fruit seems to hydrate but not give me so much sugar. I
Mhm,
find that you've got to find that balance in fruit when you're having it, where it's not
mhm,
too dense, it's not too histamine, or it's not too sweet. It's your Goldilocks zone. I was saying yesterday, my Goldilocks zone is probably being in the tropics and majority of the time eating dragon fruit. Jackfruit is a good one next to that for me. Like if I want
it's
something,
super sweet,
yeah, but
jackfruit.
it's dense. So, and I
Mm,
don't react. So bananas I can't eat. Dates are a little bit drying. So you've got to find your Goldilocks zone. So it's dense enough that I don't feel that I need anything too fatty. Because if you eat a lot of durian, when I remember being in Bali, is it's dehydrating. Like you want to hydrate all the time. So it's about noticing. If I had that, I couldn't have nuts or seeds. Like that's just a
mm,
no-go zone. But it's dense enough that my body gets something it needs.
mm. Yeah, the I asked you if dragon fruits is grown in Australia because what you get, the dragon fruits, white dragon fruits you get, it's probably similar to what I get, right? Because we get from Vietnam, it's imported, and it's
Mm.
not sweet at all. It kind of reminds me of Brazil coconut, because Brazil coconut is not sweet. Like Thai coconut is very sweet.
Now that is when you're in Bali, people write to me, they're like, it's not sweet, it's so different. I like that better. We only get the sweet ones here. I want the electrolytes without the sweet.
Mm, mm-hmm. Okay, so let us answer. In Asia, I heard that fruits are a gift for special occasions and not eaten daily. That feels like a healthier relationship. Mm, okay, so yeah, it is true. Many Japanese people, or I could speak of Japan because I'm in Japan and Japanese. Um, Many fruits like these strawberries are supposed to be eaten at home, so it's quite cheap. But for the fruit, like special occasion gifts, it could cost like $100. Like $200, $300, or even more, because you want to get bring it as a special gift. Um, yeah. So, but I'm not sure if it's a healthy relationship. I don't know. I think fruit's amazing. uh
They're
did uh,
purple.
did a purple, oh, I don't
Deep
know.
purple.
Purple dragon is my
Are you
favorite. So
talking about when it's so red it looks purple? Or is there? I'm Googling right now. I'm straight to Google. Yeah, it's what I thought. It's where it's like, so you know when it's so electric, you know, where the pink and the flesh
Oh yeah.
purple. I'm looking at it right now. It's so beautiful. That is exciting me. Oh, I need to show this. I've had this where the white and like white and red have made purple too. It's basically like the purple, the pink. I need to share this. This excites me. Oh, where I've lost you. Oh, I can't share it. I'm not hosting.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna. Yeah, it's. Oh, I have so many tabs, so it takes time to find. Okay, let's see. Do you get like this purplish color?
The pink, purple, red, whatever you want to call it, are very rare here, but I kind of like that. I know I feel they're so high vibrational. I actually wonder if they're one of the highest vibrational fruits because they look electric, right? When I open it, I usually accidentally get it. I'm expecting, yeah, I
Yeah.
expect white, and then I get that, and I'm like, whoa,
It's so deep color. It is
it's
purple.
magic, right? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah. I love it when it's this color. Usually these are really, really yummy. But I don't buy dragon fruits here in Japan because 90% of the time it's not so interesting. Oh my God, how beautiful it looks.
They are so beautiful. So I think if you get those purple ones, I wonder if they're like freshly picked electric. Like I feel like, you know, as fruit is pulled off, put into trucks, it's around pollution, it's sitting on shipping containers, it dulls. Like that purple
Mm.
one is like looking at pure electricity.
Yeah, I do remember when I eat the real amazing one, like I was like, wow, I would never buy any other dragon fruits because it's like a different, completely different.
And
Um,
to what extent are we then, so this is kind of my theory as well, is when you're sitting on a beach and you've been in the sun all day and you're not very stressed and you crack open a freshly picked dragon fruit or crack open and it looks electric, you're already feeling electric and you meet with it, that energy, right? It's
mm,
very different than getting food. That even like when I get my biodynamic spray-free food, which is picked fresh and taken to the farmer's market, it's still driven from Melbourne up to Sydney. It's in a
mm,
truck, it's handled by somebody else. It does drop in frequency. Then I put it in my fridge or I need to freeze it because raspberries go off. They're amazing when I first have them. But my environment isn't even matching the electricity of it. Like, I wonder, I just think fruit is so much, the spirituality of it is we think we understand it, but we're only getting little taps of what we are ready to understand. And I just think everything plays a part. You know, me being on a podcast and then doing ebooks and doing coaching while I've got to grab some lunch, putting something in is very different than, as I said, grounded beach, freshly picked electric purple dragon.
mm,
That sounds like a song.
mm, mm. Yeah, so yeah, the Brazil was amazing. I stayed in Brazil for 2 months, and yeah, I pretty much stayed on fruits, and the fruits are so widely available. It's like I don't know, in every corner you have a juice or fruit salad bar, and it was so easy to stay raw, and it was definitely amazing. So Jane,
So did the CMOS
yeah,
really
yeah, I
help?
wanted to
Yeah.
answer this one.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And that's why there's like, I mean, you guys can see that, right? There's different times for different types of healing. I look at my fruit journey and I was getting access to the best fruit I could in Sydney in the lifestyle I live, right? And you can't do this with where my body was at with fruit. But
Mm,
as I said earlier, that was a very different time for me. I needed that time. And highly
mm,
suggest if you're very sick to get near a beach so you're very grounded and just eat fruit. Leave your job. If you want to get yourself well, do everything you can humanly possible to feel well. And that period was amazing for me. And I've kept trying to get back into it and I will not give up, right? The time will be right. But I couldn't do this, including that bit. It's still a little bit thin, but this is all growing, right? Look at that.
mm,
That to me was always a struggle. That one's grown. That's now not a that is so common. And most of my life I had it. And
mm,
see, I only had my hair done, I think 2 weeks ago. And I can even feel I've got to get my nails done. The nail beds are really long. Um, that one broke, but
Mm,
my skin is much better. So it's one of those things where I feel like you get different lessons from different raw foods, and as
mm,
I'm not always here. Like I, especially off the back of doing like the grapes and watermelon and a lot of that juicing, I did green juice, predominantly green juice, for almost 2 years now, where it's a huge part of my life. So yeah, it's like what you have a calling to at the time. Listen,
yeah, totally. And are you still eating sea moss 2 tablespoons a day?
yes, I'm kind of getting a calling now to do one. I
Mm,
feel like I've noticed the pattern I tend to have is I like to start something, try it obviously, and then build up to how much I can tolerate to give my body, obviously, if it's in a lack for a period of time, like get it up, get the levels, minerals up. And once
mm,
I'm in my flow and everything's settled for a period, is I can come back down to just a more moderate level of it. You don't want to be green juicing most of the day for your whole life. But obviously, if my body felt it was in some sort of mineral deficit, which I think doing high fruit for a couple of years did, is it
mm,
swung straight into that. And then you come back down to like a more moderate levels.
mm. Yeah, a lot of people take CMOS on a long term, so 1 tablespoons, right? I have been taking it for over a month consistently, and I have done it for 3 months straight, and I kind of say, I don't really need it, and then I stop.
Yeah. So I feel like raw foods really listen to that calling, because no matter what you're called to put in your body, you aren't doing bad. Like
Mm,
it's like you're putting a carrot, or you might go through a period where you need nuts and seeds. And then you're like, okay, I want to speed my digestion up and get a bit more energetics going through, do some fruit. But speaking of good and bad, is don't get into a mindset that any of what you've done is bad. Putting nutrients in your
yeah,
body is bad. You can learn lessons, and it's kept you alive. Be grateful for that.
right. Yeah, I think I my hair,
Your hair looks great.
yeah, but I feel my hair. Oh, I always had my hair. I lose a lot of hair all the time, but it grows so fast that it kind of compensate. And I
Wow.
always have a baby hair here, but like it's crazy when people see how much hair I lose on a daily basis. It's very worrisome, but for some reason it just grows so fast. So yeah, but I do see like when I eat more cooked food here in Japan, we have so many different kinds of sea vegetables, right? Wakame, hijiki, but I don't eat wakame anymore because I'm, pretty much fully raw. So I realized besides nori sheets that I eat with my salad, I realized that I'm not taking much seaweed like I used to. So that's why I started to add the sea moss into my daily diet. Then I don't have to think, I just add in my smoothies.
But that's good that you're listening to like your body, what your body needs, and we need minerals, and minerals help us
Mm,
see electric. And it's about what feeling good. Like if you're eating only fruit and you don't feel good, but then you include lots of greens, a few nuts and seeds, and some sea moss gel, and you feel much better. That's your body directing you that that's where you need to be right now. Does that mean you'll stay there forever and what you used to do is bad? No. It's just, I always say it's just where you're at right now. I have found that I get into these battles with myself anytime I'm like, that was bad, and that was bad, and that was bad. And that was like even when I was on fruit and I ended up only eating watermelon. And then someone on the post
yeah.
writes, that's toxic because there's no seeds in it. And then I'm like, Skye, you have to make your own. Like, how did you get back here? This is what you did not want to do. Like, so I'm like, right, I'm making my own rules. And that helped me a lot. So that's why
Mm,
I do my thing, do what works. I do share it, obviously, but I'm not here to say you're doing it wrong. Trust me,
yeah.
someone's done much worse.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. So someone said, Joe Bob, too said that it changes your vibration energy just by being, uh,
It does.
yeah. And if you cook it, feels dead. So that proves the theory. So, I
Yes.
mean, yeah, when we do this raw vegan lifestyle, we notice the difference, right? Like when you cook, it feels really like, oh wow, it's like dead.
You feel like it looks. There's no, it's like, I feel like life was supposed to be so simple. Like, even when you see those pictures of like a mushroom looks like an ear, a carrot looks like an eye, an avocado looks like a uterus. I think it was all supposed to, that to me is like a backup plan when our vibrational match has gone offline and we can't feel it. We can still see it in this dense reality, what these things will help when we get unwell. We've gone so far past that. It was literally when I got well, and this is about feeling good and bad, is the
Mhm,
carrot, uncooked, structured, bright, amazing, makes me feel amazing because
mhm,
it looks that way. As soon as as I said, I cooked the carrot, I'm like, oh, it's a bit gray. Oh, it's a bit hot. Oh, it's a bit mushy. It looks kind of gray. That's how I felt. And I'm like, how did I miss this? But because I feel like there was so much programming from such a
mhm,
young age in those first formative years where we're like really forming who we are. We didn't get to form it. I got to form myself at 40 with raw foods the way it should have been, right? But when it should have been like that is that when we're coming out of the dreamlike state, when we've been born from source and we're still in a dreamlike bubble, is where what's
mhm,
forced on us then. But then it's not bad that it's forced on, it's how you overcome what was put in your
mhm,
way. So it's like someone putting a block in the middle of the road and you sitting there and you constantly talking to the block about how bad it is. And then you get past the block, but you turn around and you keep focusing on the block, right? How are you getting around the block? And once you get around the block, keep going. You got around
mhm.
the first block. There'll be other blocks. The lessons you learnt to get around the first block, you're going to need for the next block, right? So
Yeah, for
think of it
sure.
like
Yeah.
that.
There's always something to learn, and yeah, find our own journey is so important because no one else knows what we are going through on, like, so who am I to say that they should be eating in a certain way? They might, realize at some point going through all the maybe junk food or processed food, they might just go back, to the nature because of what they have learned all this time.
100%.
Yeah. So someone mentioned about this. I don't know what this
What is it? Let me Google it.
showu. So Joe said that this helped grow his hair. I have never heard of it.
Shu Wu is a herbal remedy that used to promote healthy aging and treat conditions. Oh, it does look very inviting. Where's it from? Tuber fleece flower. It's a
Uh-huh.
Floriferous multiflorus is a species of flower or plant in the buckwheat family. Uh, it's
Uh,
native to central and southern China and Hawaiian and Taiwan and Vietnam and Thailand. And a
oh,
Chinese knotweed. Oh, it does look like it could be a knotweed. Foti
uh,
root. Yeah,
so
see,
then,
I learn something new every day.
yeah, so this, yeah, it looks like, yeah, like a ground, uh, root vegetables, right?
Well, I was
See
looking
it?
at dollops that look, I think I was looking at a dried version, but yes, like I'm looking at the dried version, but the root or flower or shu wu. What a cool name.
I thought it was someone's name.
Oh, you're so
So
funny.
interesting. Wow, thanks for sharing. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a root plant. Like it's the root of a plant, but they're showing leaves and stuff there. But it's I always think there's a huge power in roots, right? Like lessons to learn in all the foods and the raw foods.
Very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's wrap up. We're going
Yes.
almost 1 hour. So, yeah, again, we wanted to talk about good habits, bad habits, and everyone's journey is different, and we have to honor our own journey, right? Like,
True.
yeah. And it literally fixed all of my gray hair. Oh,
That's amazing.
interesting.
I love that.
Wow, gray hair turning to black. That's very
Beautiful.
quick and a
The
tip.
power of nature, I feel. Just
Mm,
plug that body into nature, and I feel like that's what raw food is, just another level of doing that.
mm,
So grounding, and you I feel like things we can't even imagine are possible.
Do you swim nowadays, Sky?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so because summertime.
Well, it's autumn now.
Oh, it is autumn. Okay.
It's autumn.
Cool. Okay, well, so I hope this talk helps some people, and we learned something new, both of us. So
Yes.
the Chinese herb, maybe it might be easier for me to get it from Chinese. Chinese herb is quite popular here in Japan. So okay, well, I thank you so much for joining. Thanks, Sky. Again, I'm looking forward to our talk last next week again.
All right. See you later,
Okay.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.